And good morning to everyone. It is Wednesday, January the 24th, and time for another few words from the pastor. I thought it would be very fitting this morning to share a few words about not only St. Francis de Sales, whose feast day it is, and whom St. John Bosco named our society, the Salesians of Don Bosco, the Salesian Society, uh, but about how this order kind of came to light, and to share a little bit of information about that. In 1845, now remember, Don Bosco was born August 16th, 1815, and even as a young boy, uh, had a dream at 9 years of age that kind of moved him and molded his desire to move and to work for a very specific ministry, a mission in life. And that mission in life was to work for the salvation of the souls of the young who are poor. Well, in 1845, and this is after his student years, his seminary years, his years as a young priest, um, he wrote in a book he called The Church History. After the fall of Napoleon, he writes, the religious orders and congregation abolished during the French Revolution could return to their old places and once again take up their gospel and mission work. Some of the old orders did not regain their ancient vigor. Therefore, God raised up other congregations that to some extent took their place and at least in part supplied the needs of the day. I think, without sounding too prideful or arrogant, it's safe to say that the Salesian Society that Don Bosco founded could be counted as one of the foremost of those congregations. Don Bosco was, as I mentioned, was only a boy when he understood that what would be his life's mission. That salvation of the poor youth. Already as a small boy, he gathered young people together, the young people of Moncuco, which is a small town outside of his hamlet, and began to catechize them. As a student, he continued his apostolate among the youngsters of Chieri, where he was going to school at. And during his years in the seminary, he spent long days educating and evangelizing the boys on the surrounding farms. And as a young priest, he was on the lookout to save the boys on the streets and the squares of Turin. At that time, certainly, he gave a lasting shape to his work. He put a solid format to his work, and he called it the Festive Oratory. It was the first of a cell of a giant complex of works for the benefit of both church and civil society. And it developed into what we have today. Salesians in over 137 countries, as far as I'm aware of, and works, almost 4,000 works. It is a wonderful, I think, credit to the desire and to the soul and to the passion and zeal of Don Bosco for souls. His famous saying, mihi animas cetra tolle, is on the crest of our Salesian crest. Give me souls. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Only the souls, the salvation of the souls of the young. And this was his ultimate desire, so that every place we are, every work that we are engaged in, needs to be involved in some kind of youth work, especially for the young, especially for the poor, especially for those who are poor. And so as we move ahead in our journey in this month, I hope to be able to expand on how Don Bosco, his life seems to be moved in a great deal, in a great sense, by dreams that he had. We call them dreams. Some people call them visions. Some people call them, he never called them anything but dreams. But there were dreams that formed him, that moved him, that motivated him, that drove him to move in a direction, even when it seemed to make no sense, even when everybody thought he was crazy doing this, even when he was at times. There was a time when even his peers tried to get him into a sanitarium, and He would have none of it. He turned the tables on them. He invited them to get into the coach first, and then sped the horses on their way to the sanitarium. He refused to buckle down. He refused to give in because he felt that his mission was God-given, was God-driven, was God-motivated. Boy, I wish I could find some of that zeal in myself. And if I do have any, it is only because I see it lived out in the founder of the society I belong to. I hope as we move along, we'll get to know more about this giant of a man, St. John Bosco, Giovanni Melchior Bosco, and what drove him, what motivated him, and how he persisted and persevered and endured through whatever difficulty came his way. And there were difficulties. In these next weeks, hopefully we'll get right into some of the other topics, taking up different periods of his life to eventually see maybe how is God speaking to me? How is is he speaking to me? Maybe he's not speaking to me in my dreams, but maybe he's speaking to me in others or through others, or maybe he's speaking to me in my sickness or in my wellness, or maybe in the people that I work with, or whatever it happens to be. How is he speaking to me? And am I listening? Am I motivated by what I see and what I hear? And is it moving me to action, to do, to become all that I can be, as Don Bosco proved himself and did in his own life? We say, Mary, help of Christians, pray for us for now. Mary, help of Christians, pray for you. God bless you all, and have a great day, week, and know that the novena of St. John Bosco will not only be posted online for us, but also on our webpage and in the back of the church as well, in a hard copy. Okay, keep that in mind, and join us in the prayerful preparation for the feast day. His feast day is January 31st, but we will be celebrating it in a formal way on the 3rd and 4th of February, the 4th during the Mass on Sunday at 10 a.m. in our gymnasium. And we're one Mass for all. God bless you, and as I said, may God's light, peace, joy, and hope motivate you today to become all that you can be. God bless you all.